All right, so you are about to watch the last mindplus community call in which we talked a lot about sales, the structure of your calls, and ultimately speaking, how you can actually close more clients at the end of the day. Because if we're being completely honest, broken down, selling comes down to really understanding the person that you're talking to, your potential customer, the prospect in this case, and really making them feel good about the decision that they're about to make. So it's fully a psychological thing. Now, this call is not about manipulating the person that you're talking to in order to make them say yes to the product that you're offering. It's truly about some core principles and concepts that you can and should be implementing in your calls in order to see an increase in the closing rate. That being said, I really hope you will find a lot of value in this call. So make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or like anything that you want to know specifically in your case. I will make sure to reach out to you directly or answer your comment or your question. And yeah, that being said, enjoy.
Well, awesome. All right, so let's dive deep into today's topic. Like I mentioned today already, I really want to talk a little bit about negotiation and sales, since obviously every single one of you guys is an entrepreneur running, his business. Sales, let's be honest, is one of the most important things that you know how to present yourself, how to present your services. And the thing, or like the reason why I really want to talk about it right now is because yeah, sales is very business focused kind of, but besides of that, it's all about the human psychology, understanding the person that you're talking to, your potential prospect, the potential customer at the end of the day, and really understanding their pain points, their perspective, to really understand what you have to say and how, most importantly, you have to say certain things in order to get them to feel good about the decision, right? Because you don't want to manipulate them in any way whatsoever. You just truly want to make them feel good about the decision. You want to really clarify a lot of things. And at the end of the day, make them take a decision where they're like, fuck yes, I feel good about it. Let's fucking do it. That's the ideal situation pretty much, right? So, and obviously, while we'll be talking about certain things, if you want to add something or talk about something as well, like mention something, feel free to do so. Because, for example, obviously, Chinad is also very active in the sales space and has a big knowledge as well. So, absolutely. But to start out, first of all, you have to, the main thing when we talk about sales, or like about human psychology, just as a quick reminder, is people want to be understood and accepted. People want to feel important. People want to know that you actually listen to them, that you understand truly what they're saying. Not like, yes, I get you. Not like really deep down understanding, because there's a difference between being like, yes, I understand you, I feel you, and actually really understanding them. People can sense that, right? So don't try to, even if you think you're good at faking it, don't try to fake it. Actually try to listen to the person that is talking to you and really understand them on a deeper level, why they are saying certain things, where they are coming from, and also accept their situation, accept their perspective. Because at the end of the day, they're coming to you because perhaps most likely they need your help in any way whatsoever. So really understand the situation and don't judge them, not even mentally, like by yourself, because this influences the whole vibe, the whole energy, the whole way of you talking, how you present yourself, how your tonality pretty much, right? And this, at the end of the day, will influence the decision of your prospect. So keep that in mind. People always want to be understood and accepted. Now, first of all, kind of touching on the basics in a way right now, business is all about listening, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter who you make business with, or like who you do business with, if it's like a big company, an influencer, freelancer, agency client, whatever it might be, at the end of the day, you're doing business with another human being. You're doing business with another person. So you have to, keeping in mind the first thing that we mentioned which is, every single person wants to be understood and accepted. In business as well, on sales calls, you have to listen. You have to listen to your prospect. It is easy to oftentimes say a lot about your service because you feel like, fuck, my service is so good. Why can you not see that? Let me tell you about how amazing this is, like how amazing this and this and this and this is. I can guarantee you, even if you have the best fucking product on this planet Earth, you'll be way more likely to convince the person to actually take the step and buy from you by listening to them, instead of trying to tell them all the beautiful and amazing things that you have, even though, once again, your product might be like the craziest product on this earth. It's all about listening. You have to truly change your perspective and your approach when it comes to this. When it comes to selling your products, your services, and also yourself, Because no matter what you do in life, you always sell yourself. When you interact with people, when you talk to people, when you are outside, when you are networking, meeting, whoever it might be, you always sell yourself in a way, right? People always get a certain vibe about you, or like of you. They have a certain picture of you in their head, after meeting you. So you always sell yourself. So as a general rule, always try to listen more than you speak, and especially in the sales space, or like, in the business space, when you try to sell your services, or like whatever it might be. So next one, I mean, that's kind of, goes hand in hand. You can only solve the problem, because at the end of the day, when you sell something, you're aiming to solve a problem, right? Now, when you only talk about your product and how amazing it is, you don't actually know what the problem is of the prospect. I can guarantee you, back in the day, and, also like starting out with mindplus, I always thought, okay, I know the problem, of the potential, a client, like potential member, like, like one of you guys maybe. I know it because it's obvious, but I can guarantee you sometimes it's not that obvious. What might be obvious for you isn't that obvious for the prospect. What you think the problem is might not be the problem at all for the person you're talking to. So always listen, because when you actually know what the problem is, then you can solve it, and then you can actually offer your service as the solution to their problem. Now, next thing, listening, besides understanding the situation, understanding their pain points, it also creates empathy and trust. And trust at the end of the day is very fucking important when it comes to selling, because when your prospect doesn't feel good about the decision that he is about to take, which is investing into you at the end of the day, like into your help, into your service, then you will have a very fucking hard time getting them to actually take that step. And, or if you actually convince them somehow to take that step, the whole vibe, the whole partnership will be completely fucked, because the level of trust just isn't there. It's like, okay, yeah, he's doing that for me, but I don't know. Your aim should be to have like almost like a friend, partnership, right? Like between friends. Obviously it's business, but there needs to be good energy, because when there's not good energy in between the partners, like between you and your client, the whole experience will be shit, like completely shit. Your client will be like, this is shit. This isn't the way you told us you would be doing this stuff. You're going to be like, oh, this is such a pain in the ass. Like, this is such a bad client, and the payment situation, everything. It just turns into a very unpleasant experience for all sides, like for all parties involved, pretty much. So listening, once again, very fucking important also in this aspect, creating empathy and trust, and kind of showing the prospect that you're talking to, like, damn, okay, like I feel you, I completely understand you, I get where you're coming from, and I actually can help you because you mentioned this, right? It makes it way more personal, and that is the key, pretty much. Everything clear so far? Like, do you guys want to add something, ask something? Then just let me know.
No, I understand it. Thanks.
Also, like, I think maybe I can even add something, even though I'm not the best guy at sales, I would say. But like when Adam kind of before I had the first call ever for this new agency that I'm creating, we chatted back and forth with Adam, and he gave me tips and tricks, this and that. And the main thing truly was just asking the right questions and just making sure that the client pretty much sells himself by talking about their problems. They're talking about the problems, and then they remember, oh fuck, yeah, it's actually so bad, on like, oh, this problem is bothering me on a daily basis so bad, and they're literally talking about it, and they're manifesting that feeling back at them. And then I fucking closed that first call by like just implementing that tip. Like literally the first call I had in like 2 years for sales. It was just it was crazy, just by implementing that little like thing that Adam told me to do. And all the calls have been very, very successful just by implementing that. And then that's just kind of a testimonial to what Adam is saying. Just like it truly fucking, like, it really worked for me. Like first call and close. It was just great. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Now, congrats once again. And yeah, that's really how it is, right? I like the thing that you mentioned with the client should, ideally speaking, sell himself on the service that you're offering, right? That you don't have to convince them to do anything, because yeah, that is like this moment of realization that they have, like, fuck, I actually need this right now. And that's the thing that you need to achieve by asking the right kinds of questions. Also, yeah, kind of goes hand in hand. Ask, listen, don't talk that much. I mean, obviously you have to talk, but also, like, as a rule of thumb, and I think I have it on the next slide as well, exactly, The person that is asking the questions and is listening the majority of the time has the authority and the control of the call. When you talk more, you lose the control more and more and more. And subconsciously as well, you lose authority on the call. So once again, really important, ask the right questions and let the person you're talking to, the prospect, the potential client, talk. Let them do the talking. Take notes, listen to them. When needed, add something, ask something, but don't be in a position of talking, too much, because you will lose your authority. And the thing is, sometimes when the prospect is asking you a question, right, instead of directly answering that question, you can be something like, okay, that's a very good question, but before I answer it, let me ask you another thing, and kind of get back the control. Because once again, if you ask the questions, if you listen, if you're in this position, you have authority. Because what happens when you start to talk more and actually the prospect starts to talk you questions, even like personal questions, like whatever, your authority level drops significantly, like step by step by step by step. And then you will have, no matter how good your product is, a very difficult time to actually sell your product, especially when we talk about high ticket products, about high ticket kind of services, right? Because the person is like, okay, yeah, but I kind of don't have the vibe that this person can do this, because they simply, on a subconscious level, maybe they are not even aware of that, they lost the kind of, to some extent, the amount of respect for you, because you lost your authority by talking too much and by answering their questions that they actually asked you. So once again, if you ask the questions, if you listen the majority of the time, you are in control and you have authority. Very fucking important.
Yeah, can I add?
Absolutely, go on.
Yeah, so for example, in that situation, like you can say like, okay, for sure, we can cover that on the call. But first, I just need to get a little bit like better understanding of, X, Y, and Z. So yeah, and also like with the authority and in the questions, I feel like what's like really important sometimes, but it's like more in the B2C space. It's like, you ask a question and they just start to like, talk, and you can feel that they're gonna talk for like fucking forever. And then you can say like, okay, so how long have you felt that way? Or you just gotta come in, and like when they say something and you feel like you can come in, then you just gotta come in and get the control back, because otherwise they're just gonna talk for fucking forever, like bullshit stuff. And it's just gonna take a lot of time, and you're not gonna have that much frame as you would. So that's a big thing that I experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for adding that, Chad. Next thing, one of the most important things as well, you have to remain emotionally open and flexible. Sometimes I also experience that with partners of mine, that I saw them having calls, and also back in the days when I was doing a lot of calls, I had this exact kind of frame like outcome in my mind, and anything that wasn't aligned with that, it kind of fucked up my whole thing in my head, right? And I kind of struggled to really get along with the call, ask the right questions, and I was losing more and more control and authority because I wasn't flexible. I wasn't open to the things that might might get said like on the call by the prospect. So really remain very open to a lot of things. Don't be in your head like, okay, this is exactly how it needs to happen, this is exactly how it is going to happen, because when you work with people, with human beings, there will always be something like a factor, a variable that you haven't calculated in. And the worst thing is when you are on a call as the authority trying to sell yourself, your service, your offer, your product, and you kind of have this moment of fuck, I don't know what to do right now, because you haven't been prepared. This is the worst thing, because you lose authority automatically. Even if the person is like, oh, good, subconsciously it's almost over. You're gonna have a very difficult time to recover from that. So in order to kind of prevent that from happening, really stay open, both emotionally, and kind of also technically to the questions that might get asked. Very, very important. Also, because I think a lot of people, when they think about sales or like negotiation, let's say, quote unquote, in general, they feel like it's a battle, right? It's like you against the prospect, right? And at the end of the day, who wins this battle, is the overall winner of the thing. And if you win, then he's gonna buy your product, and if he wins, you lose, right? You lose the money, or like whatever it may be. It is not a battle. Like selling is truly not a battle of who is right, of kind of trying to convince them, with like another like fact after fact after fact. It's truly a discovery. And the moment you change your approach when it comes to selling and realize, okay, it's truly about discovering layer by layer, step by step, uncovering certain things, unrevealing certain things, about the prospect, about the situation, really understanding where he's coming from, why he's feeling a certain way, why he took the decisions that he took in the past. By discovering those things step by step, you once again build authority, understand the prospect way better, are able to ask way better questions, you have more authority, and you will have a way more easy, kind of game of closing the deal pretty much. So it's really not a battle. You are going into the call to learn about this person and about the situation, offer value, ask them why, how, since when, good questions, and then offer the solution to the problem. It's not like, whoa, okay, fuck, I need to get this, okay, let me do this, and then he throws something back. No, it is not a battle. It is not war. It is a discovery, layer by layer. And the sooner you realize it, the sooner you accept that and change your perspective towards selling, quote unquote, and have this kind of approach instead of the battle approach, will become way more natural. I can guarantee you that. It will become so natural. You will be so casual on the calls, and it will feel so automatic that you actually get those people, interested in getting to say yes. I can guarantee you that, like 1000%. Yeah, uncover as much as possible. Kind of touched on it already with the unrevealing thing, like layer by layer. Once again, really go deep. Don't be scared to go deep, because sometimes you will be on a call, and the person will be like, yeah, I struggle with, let's say, time management, right? I just cannot handle all those tasks by myself, and that's why I wanted to reach out to you to see if you can help me, guys, right? So that's kind of the main problem. But go deeper. Ask him, why is this a problem? I mean, sure, okay, yeah, it is like a time problem, it's a hassle to him, this and that, but go deeper than that. Don't stay on the surface level, because the deeper you are able to go, the bigger the pain point that he will feel himself will be. And once again, builds more authority, shows builds more trust, because you ask those questions to really understand him on a deeper level, and then you can really give him the solution to the main problem, right? Because if it's just like, okay, yeah, it's kind of a hassle, okay, cool, and then you drop like, okay, yeah, we can do this for you, cool. I mean, he already knew that, because otherwise he wouldn't be on the call. But by you asking, okay, why is it a hassle? How is it affecting you? What is it preventing you from doing actually? Why do you feel like that right now? How would it look like if you would not need to worry about that? Go deep, like really make him realize himself, like, damn, fuck. My situation right now is completely fucked, actually. And it could be so much better, so much pleasant if these guys help me out right now. So really go deep, uncover as much information as possible. Always. Everything clear so far?
Yeah, man, crystal clear.
Love that. Another thing, don't rush it. From my personal experience, it can be kind of difficult to stick to that, because at the beginning you're also very nervous. You tend to be more nervous. You forget certain things, and you want to get it over with, like, as ASAP, pretty much, right? You kind of don't be in this uncomfortable situation. Embrace the whole thing, like really be in the moment, listen, relax, and don't rush it. Because the worst thing is when the prospect that you're talking to feels rushed, when they don't have the feeling that you actually are giving them right now in this moment 100% of your time and focus and energy. That's the worst thing, because it blocks the level of trust. They automatically feel this sense of distance, in a way, of separation, right? They don't feel like they can really open themselves, talk about their problems really in depth to really give you a deeper understanding, because they feel like, fuck, okay, this guy isn't really listening to me right now. It seems like he's kind of stressed, he needs to go. Don't rush it. Take your time. Obviously, don't talk for like 2 or 3 hours, but don't have the feeling that you need to do it in like 5 minutes, right? Allow the conversation to be natural, to unfold naturally, ask the right questions, once again, build authority, and don't rush it. Take it chill, like really take it chill. Because at the end of the day, it is a conversation between 2 human beings. One person has a problem, you have the solution to that, and that's what you talk about. That is everything, nothing besides of that. Now, number 3, what do I mean with mirroring your prospect? There are like certain studies and kind of things that, like in books, when they're like, okay, when you are in a real life meeting, like behave exactly like the prospect, right? I mean, if he scratches his head, scratch your head as well. Maybe to a certain extent that may have some influence. I think that's bullshit, to be honest. especially nowadays, I mean, like most people, when you talk to business owners, they kind of know what you're doing as well. And I think that's so kind of fake, kind of trying to influence someone, kind of manipulate someone by copying them literally. So that's not what I mean by that. What I do mean by mirroring your prospect is sometimes you hop into, and I think I have this on this next slide. Exactly. Sometimes you are on, on the call, you listen, and then you talk about your product, about all the benefits, like the good things that you can generate or like, help the prospect with. But then the prospect mentions one thing and you just ignore it because you just say, okay, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, but yeah, so we're doing this and this and this and this. You don't really listen to him and you don't really pay attention to what he just said. So truly, this goes hand in hand with the whole thing that we are talking about right now about listening. Listen to them. Sometimes you think one of the aspects of your product is the coolest thing ever, and that is the biggest kind of selling point that every single guy or like girl, like, customer will be crazy about. But sometimes you realize on the call that this actually might not be so important to this person that you're talking to right now. And even though you have just a tiny thing of your product, there's like, like 1% is like about something specific. To this person, this might be the biggest reason why he or she is going to say yes. So don't think that just because for you something is very small and insignificant or like, unimportant, not important, that to the prospect it's automatically the same way, because it's not. Now, when you listen and, the person is sounding like, okay, yeah, I actually struggle with this, then focus all of your attention on this. Repeat it, mirror it, mention it every single time now, naturally, like a fucking robot, like, okay, weight loss, right? But then talk more about it. And every single thing that you say after that in regards to your product should be correlated to the thing that they mentioned. And that is exactly what I mean by mirroring, because they are telling you the biggest problem, and then you constantly address it with a solution, that your product is a solution to this problem that they're facing right now. That is exactly what I mean by mirroring. Repeating the things that they mentioned to you and implementing them in the whole kind of call, and focusing the whole call around this thing that they told you about. Very fucking important. Everything clear? Or anything you guys want to add? Perfect. Now, next thing. You actually should start to embrace no's. This might be a little bit fucked up if you think about it, because yeah, the worst thing when you have calls, you're fully motivated, you're like, yes, I'm gonna sell this, I'm motivated, and then the prospect is like, nah, I don't feel good about it. And then you think, okay, automatically the moment a no drops in whatever way, like, okay, I don't have the money, or like whatever, or I don't feel convinced, you feel like it's over, that the prospect, or like the client is the call is over, you lost the prospect, this and that, right? And that's not the case, because actually a no is the start of the actual negotiation, because then you see what your client wants, how he feels, and how he does not feel, what he does not like. And then you can once again start the actual problem solving, offering value and answers and giving clarity and making him feel good. Now, you would not be able to do that if you would not get a no, pretty much, right? So when you get a no, that's a very good sign for you, because then you actually have the starting point for unrevealing more things, to understanding the prospect, his situation. Because if you guys have been in business, like some of you guys have been in business for a longer time as well, I'm pretty sure you had these kind of, answers on calls, right? Stuff like very basic ones, like, I don't understand it really, or like, it sounds good, I would really love to, but I can't afford it right now. I feel like I need more information. Or like a very good one as well. Yeah, I love how this sounds. Honestly, I really like it. I feel good about it, but I need to discuss with my partner. But I need to discuss with my wife, or like whatever it might be. Bullshit. Like, honestly. But when this comes up, instead of being like, oh fuck, it's over, I suck, I lost the client, I lost the prospect, embrace it. And then go even deeper, let's put it like that. Go even deeper down to truly understand why they're feeling like that, right? If they're like, okay, I want to discuss this more with my partner, with my wife, whatever it might be, ask them open questions like, okay, why do you feel like that? Why do you think you would need to do that? Just because I'm really appreciating transparency and honesty, I'm also like that. So if you don't mind me asking, what makes you feel like that? Like really let them talk even more. Once again, let them talk and listen to them. Ask solution-based questions, always. Don't think whenever something like that drops, it's over. No, it's actually the beginning for you to come in and resolve the problem actually in this moment. So examples for some solution-based questions, just to name like 2, I think. For example, what about this doesn't work for you right now? Like, just tell me. I'm very, very curious to understand you, because it's very important to me that you feel very good about it, that you have some clarity. So what about this really does not work for you right now? Also, very good one that I also personally always like to ask, what would you need to make it work? Or like, what would need to change so you feel different? What would need to happen so you change kind of your opinion, or like, your thought process? Let them actually tell you what would need to happen. Like literally, you can let them tell you what they need. And the only thing that you then need to do is give them this one thing, honestly. And once again, with that, you give them clarity, you build more trust, you build authority, you tell them, okay, you're listening, they feel better about the whole thing, and you can actually resolve every single obstacle that they're facing right now. Because here's the thing, once again, when someone is on a call with you, there are very high chances that they're very interested in your service, because otherwise they would not even spend their time being on the call, right? So yes, maybe they are, researching options in the field, finding the best delivery, service delivery guy, or like the best product in the space, or like whatever. But there is a need, because otherwise they would not even be on the call with you. So don't lose people that are on the call with you already just because they drop something like that, something like I can't afford it, or like I don't feel good about it. When you already have them so far in the call, because that most of the times happens like towards the end of the call, like after like 20, 30, even more minutes. So don't lose them that, because if someone has given you so much of his time to listen to you, to have this conversation with you, and all like in the first place had the intention of actually hopping on a call with you, don't lose them that easily. Just dig deeper, honestly. Just ask them about, okay, why, how, what would need to change? They will tell you. They will tell you by themselves. And then the only thing that you need to do, give them exactly what they need. Make them feel good about it. That's how you resolve the problem. Sounds good so far. Perfect. Now, coming to an end slowly, and then we can obviously chat a little bit about this whole topic. Also, a thing to keep in mind that I also really like is this, 738-55 rule, which was developed by a professor from, I think, California. Forgot his name right now. It doesn't really matter right now, but just to kind of, once again, showcase what actually matters in a call, what actually matters in a human interaction between two human beings. So the 7 stands for 7% of a message is words. Yes, it is fucking important what you say, but it's just 7%. The actual words that you are saying is just 7% of the 7% of the whole message. Just 7 fucking percent. Now, 38% of the message that you are kind of, communicating to the prospect, in this case on a sales call, is your tonality, how you make things sound. Because here's the thing, you can say exactly the same thing in like thousands of different variations. And one variation might sound like very intriguing, very nice, very like, okay, I want to do that. And another one might sound like, fuck, I don't want to have to do anything with this guy, right? It's all about the tonality. So that's the second thing. And the vast majority, like the biggest majority, like the biggest kind of piece of the whole cake in this case, is your body language and your face. Okay, that should have been an end like this. 55% of the message that you're communicating to the person you're talking to the prospect, to the potential client of yours in this moment, is your body language and your face. Obviously, all of these things, so like your word, the actual message, like the words, the tonality, and also and especially the body language and your face have to go hand in hand together, right? All of those things have to be on the same level. You can't be saying, nice words, but your face looks fucking angry, like as if you're about to kill this person, right? Those things have to go hand in hand together. But keeping this in mind, the most important thing by far is your whole body language, your appearance, and your face, which also is influenced by your mental state and how you feel yourself as a person. And that's why it's so fucking important, why we actually do what we do with mindplus as well. Because you can only be like have a very good body language, a very good kind of expression of your face, just feel very good about you, be very calm, very chill, very self-confident if you have mastered yourself up to this point. Because otherwise people will sense that, right? When you feel like you don't sit like very confident, you're moving around, you're saying something but your face is being like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be saying that right now. Bullshit, honestly. Those things have to be aligned, they have to be intertwined, and they have to be on the same level. But once again, most importantly, when we talk about this 38-55 rule, 7% of a message is the words, 38% of the message is tonality, how you make things sound, and 55% of the message that you're communicating is your body language and your facial expression. So that is pretty much it from my side in regards to today's topic. So yeah, gentlemen, let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything specific you want to know for your situation right now. If you have an experience you want to share, question, whatever, feel free to do so.
Hey man, thank you very much for this. Like I always enjoy listening to things like this. And the first call we had about this entire sales call thing, it pretty much leveled up my sales call experience in my business. Before then, I had something called phone call anxiety. I don't like picking calls. I don't like getting on calls. I just prefer reading text, right? But after then, I was finding opportunities myself to jump on a call. Like I'll be the one to say, yeah, let's jump on a call. Even for something we could just have a conversation about on text, I would want to jump on a call because I know I can get a lot deeper from a call, yeah? So yeah, thank you for this. And I have a question though. We mentioned listening to the potential clients, the prospect, and trying to go deep and understand their problem and situation and whatnot. And also, I think Lorenzo also talked about controlling the conversation to avoid unnecessary talking, unnecessary disbursement of information. So my question is, where is the balance in this? Because they seem like two opposing actions, right? So where is the balance between letting them speak and actually being a listener?
Yeah,
and also keeping them from rambling?
absolutely. So first of all, I appreciate the kind words, and I'm really happy to see and to hear that you have been finding a lot of value in the calls, and especially in the first one, and that you've been able to level up and implement that into your own business. Now, to answer your question, there is no right answer to that, but it's kind of like an experience thing, and I'm pretty sure Jeanette can also attest to that. You will sometimes feel like, okay, now it's getting too much. It's getting too much. Because, you let the person talk, you're listening, you're taking your notes, you get your answer. Okay, this is what he's going through. Okay, this is why he's feeling like that. Cool. And then you have all the answers already. You know exactly what you need to talk about, what you need to kind of focus more on. And the person just keeps talking, talking about the whole life situation, this and that. You will feel that, especially with experience. When you already have all the things that you need and the person still is talking, then you can feel free to kind of get in between and be like, okay, yeah, and say something, it kind of is fitting in the situation, not to be rude, like, out of nowhere, just talk and stop them or like prevent them from talking. But it's a matter of feeling, honestly. You will feel when it is too much. You will feel when this point is kind of, when this line, should I say, is crossed in a way. It's automatic. It's automatic. And maybe you already experienced something like that, when you've been listening to the person, they were talking, and at some point you were like, okay, can I actually say something again? So it's a thing of experience, honestly.
Yeah, and I think like most of the time, you ask a question and they tell you the problem. So there's that part when they tell you the problem, and then after that they start talking about like, oh, the bullshit kind of stuff. So I mean, you can feel like, yeah, as Adam said, it comes down to like a bit of experience, but you can see that, they tell you the answer, and then you have to come in and, get back the control because you have the information that you need. And yeah, you can ask a question like, okay, so like, how long has that been going on for? Or like, how they make you feel, or like in what way though, like something like that. Like,
absolutely,
yeah, clarify the pain and stuff.
Absolutely. And also one last thing, to kind of add from my side, which I also realized, on my journey, kind of in a way, the higher the price of your product or your service, and the higher the, let's say, the quality of the person you're talking to, let's say, right? When you're talking to another business owner, you know, he's doing like big numbers already. The whole vibe is completely different. You can be way more chill then, and kind of, you know, way more yourself, because it's just a completely different approach. So whenever you talk to people where you know, okay, those people, you know, those guys are on a very high level already, you can be, you know, just allow yourself to be way more like yourself. Because here's the thing, like when you talk to other business owners, they already know like all this, you know, like kind of questioning and like, you know, kind of scripts, because they're doing them themselves pretty much, right? Or like they have been doing it themselves at some point in their career. So they will be like, bro, what the fuck are you trying to do right now? I mean, I had this myself, you know, I was on calls with guys and they were trying to sell me something, and they were asking those questions like, okay, Adam, how, just out of curiosity, how did this make you feel? I'm like, bro, like, you know, just appreciate it, but like, you know,
Yeah.
it's a completely different kind of dynamic when you're on calls with business people that are on a higher level
Mhm.
already.
Yeah, it's most of the time it's logical questions.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't have to, you know, do those like crazy questions.
Yeah, I tried, bro. I tried that. It was so shit.
Yeah, like honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, it's honestly like when you talk to those guys, you know, it's more of like, okay, bro, like what are you struggling with? Okay, shit, damn, that sucks actually, right? Okay, it's like truly like from like a friend kind of perspective. It's very natural. That's how you actually, you know, that's the coolest thing about sales as well. The higher you get in regards to, you know, your pricing and the people that you work with, the easier it becomes. First of all, because you have way more knowledge and experience already. And second of all, because you can and should actually be way more chill with those kind of people, because they don't know this shit, and you don't have to do those things anymore. And most of the times, people, you know, on this level, they don't need to be solved. They know exactly what the problem is. If you can offer the solution, that's it, right? When they feel good about you, you don't have to go like, okay, well, how does it make you feel? What would change in your situation right now? So that's something that really helps when you talk to people, you know, kind of on a lower level, especially also in the B2C kind of space. And generally speaking, when you don't have too much certainty about the person that you're talking to, when you don't know what position they're at already right now in the career, in the business, in life, then you can ask those questions. But also when you don't know, during the call, you will quite easily and quite quickly kind of get a vibe for the person, right? Sales is all about really understanding the person that you're talking to very, very quickly. It's so fascinating, actually, like sales, you know, as a whole. And then you need to, like, as a good, you know, salesman in this situation, kind of, right, quote unquote, you need to understand the person you're talking to. You need to kind of get the vibe and then present all the things that you talk about in a vibe that is kind of coherent with the vibe of the person that you're talking to. So that's pretty much it, you know. So, any more questions before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I had one question. First of all, yeah, thanks for the tips. Like, took a lot of notes. It's really helpful, especially the first part. I think helped me a lot. To focus a bit more on listening than telling. I think it's also in my outreach, or was a bit of a problem that I would just try to force my solution, to more or less every prospect without actually listening to their problems. But yeah, my question would be if you have actually any tips about negotiating the price at the end of the call. If that's something we should actually do, because for example, I haven't had too many sales calls, but the ones I had, people were more or less already sold, and I just walked them through what I'm doing, and then discussed the price at the end. And the two most recent calls, at the end, actually two same business, type of business, two different price points, but both more or less push back on the price and try to negotiate on them. One, I actually reduced my price, which I kind of regret right now, because it was actually a bit more work than I thought. And the other one I tried more or less to tackle with longer guarantees or something like that, to offer like a refund policy and stuff like that. But do you have like any tips on negotiating the price at the end of the call?
Yeah, absolutely. So generally speaking, like truly, it's almost never really about the price. When you really can give a lot of kind of a trust and present yourself in a very confident way and present your service as truly the solution to their problem, and if it's logical to them, it has to be logical, right? It has to make sense why you're saying this and why you're charging X amount for this service. When it's logical, when they really trust you, when they're like, okay, this guy's very confident, I believe him, you know, it makes sense, I understand what is going to happen, then the price really almost never is the actual problem. But when, because when you talk to business people, they always want to, save money, like, obviously, take very good cash flow decisions kind of for the business as well. Don't really get too easily manipulated in a way, because especially when you talk to business people and they have a feeling, okay, I am kind of above you, I have more experience, they will try to make you like small and like kind of, push down the price, because they see like, okay, with this guy, it doesn't seem like he has too much experience yet. Let's try if we can like push it down pretty much, right? By saying things like, okay, yeah, no, we'd love to, only if you do this, because otherwise we don't want to work with you. But also in this situation, you should actually stand your ground, because business people, like very serious business people, will respect you way more. And this also builds authority when you don't easily change your price just because they mention it right now. Because by doing so, you automatically kind of imply that you don't value services yourself, right? When you automatically go down with the price. Because, okay, why was it worth this amount of money in the first place? When you just automatically, just because I said one thing, you drop down the price. So the price apparently wasn't worth the value. So you by doing that, you actually show them, okay, my product sucks because I myself don't believe in the price. So instead of pushing down the price, what is way better in that kind of situation, once again, really asking them, like truly, okay, so once again, we talked about everything. You do have a very good feeling and you do believe that we can help you, right? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so just so you're on the same page, it's truly only about the financial situation. Did I get this right? Yes. And then you can, once again, like we discussed on the whole call already, dive deeper. Okay, why actually? Because we told you exactly what we can do for you. We told you exactly what is going to happen. You know exactly what we can help you, the quality as well. So I'm just really trying to understand, why is this a problem for you right now? Let them talk once again. Don't be like, fuck, yeah, no, we can do cheaper. Just ask them. Stand your ground, know that your product is fucking valuable in your service, and really don't get that easily manipulated. Like, honestly.
Can I add?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so like for example, in your case, like when the case is like, they want to pay less. So I would never, say that we can drop the price other than if it's like logical that, they need something less of the service. So they don't need some kind of part. They just need a certain part of the service. In that case, that makes sense. But other than that, I wouldn't think about like it's a problem of negotiating and objection handling and stuff like that. It's a problem, most of the time it's a problem of you not building enough pain, or just not making, it doesn't really make sense for them, the ROI, or just a trust issue. And also when it comes to the like the as Adam talked about right now, like this, it doesn't make sense, and like those kind of, like I would approach that in a way that you don't ask a question that is like the answer is a yes or no. You should like ask a question like, okay, so if you would have the funding, like if I would just give you like $4,000 right now, would you do it? And they say okay, yes. And like, okay, so but why though? Why do you think it would work for you? And they will tell you like, why and stuff like that. So yeah, but you have to think about like how you can prevent this. So like how you can build more pain and build more trust and like build more value, so that it's gonna be easier at the end, and you don't have to like fight or something.
Oh yeah, got it. Yeah, thanks a lot. That already helps, and yeah, hopefully next week we'll have some more calls, so I'm gonna try these tips. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know, Florian, that you have an agency, and something that we usually do when clients are quite hard to close, because we already know that we use a two-step sales call model. We add to the offer a small service that doesn't need that much as others, and then we bring down the price so that they can be, oh, okay, so we negotiated. And we actually didn't, because that wasn't what we wanted to sell. And they usually, remain happy. They're very happy that they were able to negotiate. So you trick them into this kind of small trick. That's
Okay.
something that could be useful. If you know that the client is quite hard to close, because if not, then it's not worth, because your offer is your offer. So you should be able to sell it as well as the price that you decided.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, like I was at the feeling like they just push back just for the sake of pushing back to see what they more or less can do, and just for the sake of negotiating. And that's why like it's actually quite a good tip to have something more or less in my hand to more or less give them, or be able to drop it, although that's never something I want to sell them anyway. So I can give them more or less something to negotiate with. I think that would be quite helpful.
Absolutely, yeah. And also, yeah, I really appreciate Lorenzo and Shinat for adding on top of that. Very, very valuable. So thank you for that as well. So yeah, guys, I would say let's wrap it up. I think we talked about a lot of, important things in regards to sales today. I really hope you found some value in that. And besides of that, thank you for your time. And yeah, see you in the next call, gentlemen.
See you guys.
Great
Thank you.
call. Great call.
Thanks, Adam.
Awesome.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.
Oh, yes.
Have a good day.